Morning, guys. I see everybody's already doing it in the room. We are already in live. People are already getting long, short. Right, okay, Mark Williams is in, doing some trading. Fantastic. Potential, right, good stuff. Morning, Danny, demo, let's go. As Dave's pointed out, I can see the DAX does look like it could be a decent day today. Something to be aware of though, guys, right? This drive here, they can be, I call them an open drive failure. They can fail. So although it looks very, very bullish at the moment, because we've literally done like just over 100 ticks in a straight line, sometimes they can fail. This level here that we're approaching now is massively important to the move. See how we're just coming into it now on the 5-minute time frame? I call this my morning pivot. And it's like the first sort of point where the markets bounce from, and it sort of creates, if this thing's going to play out now on the smaller time frame, it sort of creates the flag move that you'd want if you were looking at an open drive continuation. Now this is, for me, this has got to hold here right now, 847. It's got to hold, because what happens if it doesn't is this type of let me just get this off. Super trend. Let me just get this off and show you what can happen. If this holds here and we go back into this, we're way more likely to break the top of that flag and go and have another move up, and the open drive's going to continue and expand. You get something like that happening. Like that. It's got to hold here. It needs to get back inside. Now, if it doesn't, what normally happens is this low tends to be resistance, and then you move down here. And because this is so thin liquidity wise here, a lot of the time the first move is back into the top of the IB, which will be this point. So strategically thinking, it's a nice move for either direction, but you've got to just wait to see what sets up, if you know what I mean. Now, it doesn't affect my 5-minute strategy, how I trade in any way, but on the smaller time frames, these are the pointers that I'd be looking at. This open drive here is one of my playbook trades, and I love how tight it is into this sort of flag type pennant, but it's touch and go here. This could act as resistance, and we could roll back down, fill in this move here to the top of the IB, or if we close back inside that flag and coil up again, we definitely can go to the upside. So something to keep an eye on. I will be trying to get long as well, I think, on the 5-minute if we go through it again and maybe take out this high here. But to me, it looks like it's failed. That does on the 5-minute. You'd have to say, if you're looking at it now, I think it's failed, and I think we're going to more than likely go and rotate back down to the top of the IB. So that makes sense to everybody. Right, Nick's pointing out it's right on the 10 EMA now. What chart's that, Nick? 5, 1 minute, 3 minute. Had a losing day yesterday, by the way. That trader called out live, got stopped out, but I only took the one and I got stopped on it. So it's this account, right? It's just so frustrating for me, because I would be up if I hadn't have had that ESMA ruling come in last week. This loss wouldn't have made any difference, and I'd be up. My account would be like 3430, 3450 region with the scales that I took at the same area. And now it's like I'm sort of treading water again and going around in circles, and it's just annoying me because it shouldn't be like that. But it is. Yeah, I think, looking at that now with that 5-minute close through that level, I would say that's a failure. Now a push back up into there. Now, yes, it can push back up in there and still go, but for me, I think it's more than likely to have failed that now, that open drive, and we're way more likely to, if we push up, to roll down again to this top of the IB here. See what happens though. We can always be wrong. Right, 5 min for you, a 5-minute trader, are you, Nick? Awesome. Morning, Ian. Matty, how you doing? Ian Kingsley, how you doing? So Charlotte makes a point. It's odd that the DAX strength is not followed by the yen weakness. Right, okay. So you're not seeing the correlation. Let's see what happens though. It's interesting. I love watching things like this, because to me, this looks like you'd have to say, right, if you're trading this discretionary this morning, that it's the same as the roof test but upside down for me, that we were talking about with Mark Wogan yesterday. if we punch up into this point here, I would be more likely trying to fade this move and move it back into the IB here, and this would be the first target point, and then see how it acts around the IB. And if we start curling back up again, then obviously try and get out, because I think we've still got a bullish day. Even if this open drive fails here, the day's still bullish for me, because pullbacks into this IB are buying opportunities for expansion higher throughout the day. We just got to see. For me though, I think that's a failed open drive, and I think we're way more likely to come back down into the top of the IB. I would like to have sold this if I was trading discretionary. I would like to have sold the pullback into this area for a rollover, but we'll see. Let's see what happens. Afternoon from down under. Nice one, Sam. Whereabouts are you, Sam? In Oz, whereabouts are you? What's your city that you're located at, or your district if you don't live in a city? Aldershire, how are you doing? Morning. Trend the market, morning. Just want to point out that trade that Kurt called yesterday. I was watching this one last night and I thought, well done, you know what I mean? Like, he come on here yesterday, called this live in front of everybody at 668. Kudos, mate. Honestly, really good. Appreciate that. And look at the pinpoint accuracy of that trade. Now, I've messaged Tom as well, says he wouldn't have taken it. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. He would have no, that wouldn't have been one for me. And to be fair, he didn't say it in this area here. He said it when it had already moved away from the level, to be fair to him. So even, he could have said, oh yeah, I would have taken it, because when I actually got the reply from him, it was like 25 ticks off the level. And he was like, no, I wouldn't have taken that one. I still wouldn't have taken it. So, but Kurt called that one yesterday live. That is pinpoint accuracy, isn't it? I mean, how much drawdown did he get off it? 1 tick? He said 68s and it took him to 69.3s. So fair play, dude. Great trade. Well done. Appreciate that. Alright, awesome. Noosa K. Thomas, morning. I don't know if Kurt's in here this morning, by the way, but if he is, good trade call, dude. $15118 is the level I'm looking for it to respect, then long. So just above the IB then, yeah? Why are you looking at that level, Trend the Market? What have you got there? I'm just interested, because that's just above my IB on the cash chart. I'm wondering what you're looking at. It's slightly higher. I would suggest that if we do pull back down here into this IB zone, for me, I would like to see some sort of curled up type action where we create some structure with some highs that if we break out, we can then go and make the move. So like this type of stuff that I show you, it's not really rocket science or anything, but just some structural highs where if we can get some momentum going back through them again, and then if we break on momentum to the upside of like that point there, I'd be long if we broke like a high like that, and then my stop would be just underneath this swing low. I don't know. Let's see though. It's coming off though, like I thought, to be fair. Open drive failure then. They're in my playbook. Have I made any money off them today? Nope. But there you go. That's the power of pointing out plans, right? I could have had, let me just point this out to you, right? I saw this setting up, right? I could have then come on Twitter with a plan saying, if this goes here, and then I'm going to take it down to here, and if this goes here, then I'm going to take it long from here, right? And you would have all thought that I was an absolute ledge, wouldn't you? You know, off the plan. You'd have been like, oh yeah, you know, like, he didn't get a trigger above here, so he must have been short this one down here. Bullshit. It's all rubbish. It is all rubbish. I say it over and over again. Let's see your execution. You know, yesterday I lost money. That was my execution. Today, if I would have put that plan out on Twitter, you would have all thought that I would be like millionaire trader. It's all bullshit. It really is. I say it every day. Morning, Ed. Yeah, I have been Sonics. I have been testing it. Yeah, I'm still doing it though. Still going through it. There's little niches that you pick up, and you can sort of you can sort of see things as I'm backtesting. I will always try and look. I'll do one set of parameters, then another one, and it takes me a long time, by the way, because I aren't using Pro Real Time. And I also have to be in the right frame of mind, Sonics, as well, to do it. If I'm not in like a fully sort of, you have to, when you're backtesting, you have to be with no distractions, nothing going on. Nobody can be like in the house where I trade from, because the slightest stop or the slightest somebody knocking on the door or telephone ringing or like maybe anything happening just massively distracts you from the flow that you're in. I actually think backtesting is more stressful than trading. Now you can use Pro Real Time, right? And Pro Real Time is good if you want masses of data very quickly, but you don't pick the niches up and you don't see what's going on as much on the charts. And then obviously the data that you input, it tends to be like more black and white, where you don't see the grey of like what's actually happened to each losing trade that you're seeing, or what do the big winners look like from a structural perspective. And I know you can go into them and pull the dates up of them particular days, but I find the actual going through how the market's trading at each specific sort of, like markets work in cycles, don't they? So if you're eyeballing an edge, you can see the cycles that it's moving in. You can see the volatility that starts to bring, which maybe will bring you more profits or more losses from what you're doing. So I always prefer to eyeball them, but you got to be in the right state of mind for me. So it's not something that I sit there every day doing, Sonics. What I mean by it is it's not something I sit there every day doing. I find it very, very sort of like mentally consuming. But on a Sunday, if nothing's going on a Sunday, I will sit there and do it on a Sunday. I feel a bit more chilled and I can get into a flow with it. Got to be in the zone for it, yeah. Sorry, Angela, I haven't seen that tweet, sorry. I've had a few things going on this morning, though. We've got to keep it short this morning. But, yeah, I haven't seen the tweet, sorry. Just fired out a tweet this morning saying I was going live, but I'll have a look at it when I get off this. So top of the IB target off the open drive failures worked, right? Yeah, to the pip, to the point. Am I alleged? No, because I lost money yesterday. But this is it, guys. This is the power of giving people a plan and making people think that you're a alleged trader, when half the time, 70% of the time, unless people can see your execution, nobody knows what you're really doing. But that for me, as I called out right at 8:47, yeah, I did say to you that it looked like an open drive failure. The first point that we hit off an open drive failure is the top of the IB, and you can see by pinpoint accuracy we've pinged into the top of that IB. Have I made any money from it? No, not. Okay, but this is what you see on Twitter every day. I had a losing day yesterday, right? And I jump on Twitter and everybody's just winning. Everybody's just winning. Everybody's winning every day, and I'm getting to the point where I don't even really see the point in going on Twitter anymore, really. And like obviously following these big accounts, because they just don't offer me anything. There's no learning. They're not learning me anything. They aren't giving me any edge. Nobody's giving anybody any edge. They're just trying to like tell you that they're a top trader and look what I'm doing. But nobody's giving anybody any edge anymore. It's all a funnel. The bits that they give you are all funnels to try and get you into doing something. And it's just like, what's the point? I'm losing time of my life, brain cells, like following these people that are constantly like putting stuff out, but I'm not actually gaining anything from it. And like Tom Dante follows 0 people, and he probably is the right thing to do. And I'm not saying I'm going to do that, because obviously I think I'll always follow like you guys. I think you guys put more edge out than anybody. Yeah, some of the guys in here, like Angela, Mark, Trend the Market, Kurt, for instance, right, called that out yesterday. Look how many followers Kurt's got. Yeah, he's willing to come on here and throw that Euro trade out, and he's hit it pinpoint accuracy, right? He's got no followers, none. Yeah, these big accounts, these freaking idiots are all they squiggle a line on a chart as if like they've smashed everything. It's all rubbish. It's all completely rubbish, and it just frustrates me. And I get on Twitter and I come off frustrated from it. And I'm not going to ever be able to change, like that happening. So I just think for me, I just probably need to just keep off it. because it just frustrates me. It frustrates me how nobody ever puts a live trade out or any execution, or how they'd even approach the market, or what they, like how they even get a proper entry. It's so frustrating. Angela sent me a chart. You will learn edge. Right, awesome. We'll retweet it out for everybody. This is what I want it to be like, though, guys. Right, edge helps everybody. It really does. Like, I have given somebody some free edge this morning. Right, that when you see an open drive on the DAX, this is edge for everybody. Right, if you see an open drive on the DAX and it fails, it's highly likely, and the probability on this is way higher than 50%. Right, it's way higher than 50% that if the open drive fails, it's highly likely that the first point that the market goes back to test is the high, or if it's the other way around, the low of the IB. If you get an open drive down and the bear flag fails on it, it's highly likely that the first point of return is the bottom of the balance. If it happens this way, like this morning, highly likely that the first point that we ping is the top of the IB. It's absolute edge, that is, guys. I'm giving it you for free, right? There's no guru charge here or anything like that. Backtest it. Go and look at when it happens on a chart. The things that you will see are a clean breakout of balance, a thin move up, a one leg move up like this, and then a tight consolidation. And you will get the floor, in this instance, because it's the bull one, you get the floor taken out, okay, with a clean break. And on the other instance, you get the roof taken out with a clean break. And it's highly likely that if this happens, as long as you can get the risk reward on to this point, it's a profitable strategy, right? There's free edge for you. But this is what people should be doing. And I would love to follow people that were doing this type of thing on Twitter, but nobody does. And it's just like, well, what am I actually learning by being on Twitter, really? Like, I just don't think there's anything like... Following these big accounts anyway, there's just no point. You're just basically losing brain cells from it, really, for me. And half the time it puts you off what you're doing, right? You'll start thinking to yourself that if you've had a losing day, oh, these guys know what they're talking about. I've had a losing day, or I'm on a losing streak. I need to be thinking about what they're doing or what that guy's doing. And you don't. You just need to keep with what you do. I'll look at that chart, Angela. I'm very interested to look at that. I'll have a quick news, see what's going now. I'll tweet it out for everybody. Yeah, Aldershot, right? It's a good one. An open drive failure is a good one. It is a good trade. If you're discretionary, it's a good trade. You could even make it mechanical though, right? Tom did trade an open drive failure in the bund, and the actual pattern alone fails more than it actually expands, right? But it's about the risk reward that you can get onto it to the top of the IB. That's the key. So rather than just taking every one, you've got to work out the ones that give you the risk reward. They give you the right risk reward into the top of the IB. What you need to do is work out the win rate. You need to work out an entry point, a trigger, and then work out the overall win rate of the open drive failure playing out. And then also try and build in a risk reward that you're happy with. So you might get one where it's very close to the top of the IB and you can't get the right risk reward on for the trade. I think this one here would have worked out okay, because for me, how I would have played that is, at this point here, 847, I thought it had failed. So for me, my stop would have been, you could either use the candle that broke it, but that would probably be too risky. So I would have put my stop probably just above that sort of diagonal line there, because you'd have to say that if we got through that diagonal line there, it was probably going to go the other way and expand. So was the risk reward there on it into the IB? You would have got what, 1 point something, 1.2 with spread, maybe 1.24, 1.25, maybe even one in between 1.2 and 1.24, I would suggest. Sorry, in between 1.2 and 1.4. Sorry. So yeah, the risk reward might have been there for that one, but I don't know. You'd have to go and look at the overall win rate of it, wouldn't you? And then work out, exactly if it's something that you want to get involved in. But there's definitely edge in that strategy. There really is. Now, to this morning, a lot of the time when you see them, the leg up's bigger, the IB's tighter, right? And the leg up's bigger. And if the IB's tighter, it means that you can get better risk reward into the IB top like that. So you'd be risking 1 to make 2, maybe 2.3. So there's things to play with that strategy if you were trying to make it mechanical. You could trade it when the IB is very tight. You could trade it when this leg out's even bigger. You know, you might find different context and biases to try and put it into. It's something to think about. But there's definitely edge there. That is free edge, basically. And just get everything back right again. Mark, were you short this morning? Did you get any on? Did you get any on that? Just wondering if you did any discretionary stuff there. Let's just have a look, see what Angela's tweeted out. Here we go. Bloody hell, Angela. More lines on that chart than Escobar's coffee table, isn't there? I'll tweet it out. You know what, Angela? I struggle with these MT4 charts, I do. I think it's the grid, you know, the grid behind on the chart. She likes the fib levels, though. Awesome. I love it. I'm tweeting it out, guys, anyway. But you know the grid on MT4 charts, they make my eyes go funny. I take the grid off my IG charts for that reason, just because I think some people like the grids because obviously it gives them an extra sort of awareness of where they are, but for me the grids just to make my eyes go funny. Thanks for the chart, though. No, there's no need to say sorry. I'll have a look at it later on. Can't really see it at the moment on my phone, but I'll have a look at it in a bit and see what's going on. I'd be interested to see what you're actually seeing, though, from it. What's the context of the trade, if you don't mind? Let's just make sure I haven't got a trade setting up myself. No, nothing for me yet. Look at that ping into the bottom of IB though with that pin off, guys. Really interesting, that. Lovely stuff. Yeah, that's something I do, Angela. I look at the lines rather than the sell. That's probably why I keep doing my arts every day. Angela makes a good point. She's not looking at the lines on the chart. She's looking at the sell. You see? I get easily led off into the. I'll put a Guru call out. Okay, go on then, demo. He's looking at Euro Aussie dollar. I want to pull back to previous structure. I have 2 zones in mind. Demo, give us a stop. Give us an entry. Rebalancing. Oh right, there we go, Angela. You see, this is the Futex type stuff coming out of Angela now. Very good. Can you just tell us what that means, Angela? And I don't mean to keep on asking for you to sort of type me loads of stuff out. I'm sorry if you're getting a bit worn out of it, but what could you explain to everybody what rebalancing means? Right, you've got entry. Demo trader. Entry criteria to be met before entry. Okay, dude. No worries. When it happens on Twitter, though, call me an entry and an exit out. And I'll tweet it. Looking at footsie day. Is that a footsie day one-legged man up there? I did send that out to some people yesterday. Just wondering if anybody's made millions with it yet. I sent it out for a few people yesterday by email who were interested in it. Have we got a one-legged man? Have we had the wash and wipe of the 80 level there or not? No, we didn't quite get it, did we? Footsie day. What a ledge. Let me see if I can get Twitter up here. I'll do it on this one and bring it across. See if I can get Twitter up. What's going on here? Twitter. Right, I see what Angela's doing now. It's a nice chart, that, as I can see it. I can see I pulled it up on Twitter so I can see what's going on. Awesome. Lovely stuff. And so, did you say you've got a room or something? Or did I see you point out before? I think she might have pointed out you've got a room. Sonic's going to test that open drive failure. Thanks for that. Yeah, it definitely. The problem with it, Sonics, is there isn't loads of them. That's the problem. They don't happen every day. The more likely open drive failures from my back test when I was looking at them myself, I think they happen about once every 10 days, once every 10 trading days. So there's not really a lot of meat there really, but it's a high probability trade when it happens. It's something that you can add to a playbook if you're a discretionary trader, I would suggest. It's not something that's going to happen every day, or every other day, let's say, or even probably every 3 or 4 days. But once every 10, around that mark, it will happen, and the high probability when they happen. So it's something that you can add to your playbook. Now, other markets at open drive, there isn't really that many of them. Oil open drives, bund open drives. So maybe you could, look into trading it across those 3 types of markets and seeing if you can, sort of use that one strategy on 2 or 3 markets and see if it makes any sense to you. But I wouldn't just try and backtest it on the DAX. I'd look into probably, maybe look at silver as well. But the bund does, DAX does. Currencies don't tend to work like that. Yeah, so for me, Sonics, I don't like being on the 1 minute time frame really. It sucks me into a black hole. Once I start going down there, it sucks me into a black hole basically, and I end up just doing stupid stuff. So I like to just keep myself in the lane, stay in the lane basically. Because the discretionary side of it, it's great, right? But what starts to happen with me is, and I aren't afraid to admit, is I'll trade this on the 1 minute time frame, but when I'm on the 1 minute time frame, then I start seeing too many entries, too many exits, and I can often end up giving my winnings back by trading that way. And the psychological aspect of that, and too many trades, and there's always another trade. It it wasn't right for my personality basically, and it was a case of the days that the days that had made money. I'd be on this morning trading that one, and it'd be great, and then I'd be like, right, okay, what's next? And then it'd be a case of looking for something else, and I might trade the ping off here, but then I'd be trying to trade the short off this point as well. So very quickly, the grade of trades that I would take would go down from A to B, and I'd end up not at C or D, but down at M or N, at the end of the day. Do you understand that? And it was like a slippery slope, and it's very difficult for me on a discretionary 1 minute chart to. I'd always do really well, but then I'd always give back a large percentage of it, or if not all of it. And it'd be like the psychological aspect of that would basically undo me. I would be thinking to myself, this is ridiculous, like this is crazy. So I would prefer now to be the hare, right? Take one step forward, and if that's one step forward every week or month, it's just one step forward still. I'm still here, I'm still going forwards, and if it's one step backwards a month, then that's fine. But I don't want to be 4 steps forward, 4 steps back, 5 steps forward, 5 steps back, half a step forward. Like the swings were just too much. I feel like I'm more in control of my trading since I went more mechanical, more rigid. And people say I'm too rigid, I need to loosen up, but for me that triggers me off. When I go too loose, I end up making mistakes all the time. So I can guarantee that I might not make as much money as some people in this room, right? There's probably some way better traders than me in this room, but at the end of the year, I will have made money. I'm pretty positive I will have. So might not make money as fast as everybody else, but I'll still be here in a year or two's time, which is what I want to achieve. I don't want to be gone in a year or gone in 2 years or whatever, which I think I would have been if I stuck to the one, like the smaller time frame stuff where I'm discretionary. I think that I probably would have been gone by now. In fact, I'm pretty positive it would have been, because one day or one week or one day of falling apart would have probably wiped me out by now. Why do I say that? Because the stats will tell you that is eventually round the corner for most people that trade that way. Eventually. Now, the people that do it and then survive, I take my hat off to you. You are way better traders than me, way better. And I aren't saying that will happen to you. It's not going to. If you guys can smash doing it that way, great. But for people like me with my personality, it was just. I just thought like I was never really in control of what I was doing. There was too much trading and not enough analysing. And it stressed me out. I'm not afraid to admit, it made me crazy. Mechanical points out that NQ's the bomb for open drive. Yeah, Nasdaq's good for open drive too, guys. DAX is long now using my strategy, even though I just trade FX. So you'd be taking a long now, would you, at 498? Oh, right, okay. Stop loss at 498. So that explains it for you, Sonics. And don't get me wrong, Sonics, I could jump on here this morning and trade that open drive failure down, and I'd probably be trying to buy this dip here into the IB, right? And I would be, but that still doesn't mean that I wouldn't be doing my arse when you can't see me. Do you understand that? Just trying to be completely honest here. So I could jump on here this morning, and I would look like a total ledge. And if I wanted it to look like that, I could, you can sort of show people what you want to show them on social media and with YouTube. You don't have to show them all the bad bits of your trading. But I don't want it to be like that. Like, yeah, I could have hit that open drive when we broke that level there, and I could have probably, I might have tried to get long here, and I probably would have tried to get long here. It does, like yesterday. If you're looking at yesterday, though, I might have done my complete arse. I would have been seeing all sorts of stuff that hadn't worked. I don't know. It's a tough one. With me, the problem is there's just too many trades to analyse what's really going on in your trading for me on the smaller time frames, discretionary wise. But same as I say, I take my hat off to anybody that can do it. I really do. For me now, we're sort of stuck, aren't we? We need like, we look like we've lost a bit of momentum here now. For me, I would be thinking that this could push back down here again now, probability wise, rather than steam up. I would suggest that it's more likely to sort of roll into the IB from this point. Never met a long-lasting 1 minute trader. Yeah, that was me, Mark. It was tough for me. Now some people can do it though, and I think it's having the maturity to sort of. You basically sat in front of a slot machine, aren't you, on a 1 minute time frame all day, basically, and it's like sitting in front of a candy shop if you were like sweets all day, or sitting in front of a like being in a pub if you're an alcoholic all day, really. There's so much opportunity there in front of you every day, but you've got to be so disciplined to sort of not take, and keep yourself out of the ones that don't just look quite right. But because there's so many of them, like they show up every 10 minutes or every 15 minutes or let's say they show up every half an hour, you've got so many decision points to make all day. And what I didn't like about it is there was always another trade. So like if I was on a losing streak, there would always be another trade to lose by. There's just too many opportunities, and for me, I'd lacked, and I don't know if I lack it now. Talking about many years ago, but I don't know if I lack it now. I might at this point now. I might have the emotional maturity to actually trade a 1 minute chart properly. But you know what? I aren't giving myself the opportunity to. I don't want to. I'm okay. If in another 5 or 10 years, I might go back into it and look back into it. But I don't think it will add anything to my trading, really. Makes complete sense, right? Yeah, so you're on the same page as me then. Some people can do it though, right? And fair play to them. This is it, Kurt. I would be exhausted, literally done in, like nails gone, hair back because you've had your head in your hands all day like this. And it wasn't so much the leverage that I was using or the position size. It wasn't massive. It was just the ride that you're on all day more than anything. Which is crazy, isn't it? Because the market is going to do what it's going to do, but you sort of get pegged into it. It's like I don't know. It's weird. I suppose you guys know exactly what I mean, though. To be honest with you, I don't really have to explain it to you because you will have experienced it yourselves. If you've been on it and it hasn't suited you, you will know exactly what I mean. So I don't really need to explain it, do I? Because if you're all traders and you've been on the 1 minute chart and you've tried it, there's only some people who will make it on that, and the rest of them, you will know exactly how I feel. You will. So, yeah, you know what? This thing could give me a long entry myself soon. Nothing in it for me though yet. Opening range break on an M1 can be great with rules. Yeah, but you're mechanical, aren't you? Mechanical trading strategy systems. Do you know what, dude? With the mechanical type stuff on the M1, I imagine you can do really well because it takes all of the emotional trying to guess what's going on, wrong or right stuff. So I would suggest any mechanical trading system on any time frame is way better for somebody's psyche than a discretionary one, because it sort of takes the emotional sort of decision making off you, doesn't it? You can see clearly from the mechanical backtesting that you've done that you're likely that over a series of this amount of trades, that if this exact thing happens, you are likely to make money. So you can sort of stick to it. But the discretionary side of the M1 for me, that was the issue. It wasn't the M1 time frame that was the issue. It's the amount of discretionary decisions I had to make on that time frame. But I would imagine, you make a good point, with a mechanical trading system for me on any time frame, it would be okay. So I imagine that the M1 can offer a lot of opportunity. I think spread might be a thing on the M1 though and stuff. because it takes quite a big sort of, it takes a big like sort of, you know, amount off a position, doesn't it? If you're using a 10 pip stop, the spread that, you know, you have to take into account for it's quite a decent chunk. Yeah, Mark's just pointing out that you don't simply trade the M1, he does the M5 and M1 and also the daily context. So that's fine though, right? Guys, I'm not like trying to make out that Mark Wogan's some like meth addict M1 scalper, by the way, either. He's a mature guy, right? Who's been trading for a long time. So he's just on that for his entries. He's taking cues off that for an entry to get a tight stop. He's not sat there like pressing the bloody roulette button over and over again. I'm not saying that. He obviously adds different context to it and stuff like that. No, that's what I wouldn't be doing that type of stuff though when I was not doing very good. Is there anything lining up for you? There could be potentially something lining up for me here. I think Liam's called that he was long before. Did I see? Let me just go back to that. Right, so Liam's long at 15,431 with a stop loss at 15,499. Nice one. So I think Liam will he be using his stop just beneath this low? And he'll be in long on this candle here. Correct. Nice work, Liam. I hope it works out for you. I think Trend the Market's trying to get long as well, I think. So I hope it works out for you guys. I can see exactly what you're doing. And I hope it goes. I will send it out again later on, Angela. Thanks for that. Just getting back through the chat. Right, so Trend the Market's long too. And Liam is long, which is good. Thanks for calling that out, guys. Put the 518 level on the chart and look at it on the M5 3 edge for you. Okay, right, let's have a look. Actually, I just need to be aware here because I might get a trade long. So let me just see what's going on. I've got 2 minutes till this candle, 1 minute till this candle closes. Let's see. See, my bias here is telling me this isn't a long. It really is. It's telling me that this here looks a bit more impulsive, and this is going to go up in here, and I would suggest that this might trap into this. You know, like if you're trading what you see here, for me, my first gut instinct would be that this resistance here is going to push us back down, and we're going to roll over this way. Now, looking at this, my whole bias is saying to me this thing's going to roll down. But my strategy, no, it's not giving me a long here yet. It needs to go through 140. But my strategy could get me a long. And this is the thing about trading a mechanical type strategy. Like everything in my body is saying that this thing's going to roll over here and we're going to push back down. But do you know what? If I try and guess and try and do something stupid, it always ends up catching me out. It's just doom loop. It's giving me a high though now. That's a high now for me because we've seen a move off there. A solid red move off there. So now it's giving me a high to get long off. But I'm looking for a close through that level. 139, 140 is it? It's going to have to be 140 the closes for me to get long. And my stop's going to go beneath this low. But like you're longing right into resistance. But the bigger picture is, right, that we've broken balance to the upside. Now, what's in control? What's the bigger picture? For me, it wouldn't be this 5 minute level. It would be the break of the balance, right? So that's how I'm setting it up in my head. Yes, I'm potentially going to be getting long into resistance. I will hope that we'll get a close through that level though on the same candle, which would give me extra confidence. So we'd see a big green candle that goes through this high and then also through this old sort of level on the 5 minute time frame. So I will still hit it because the bigger picture for me, the bigger context is we've broken the balance of the upside and someone's pushed us out. So you'd be hoping that whoever's pushes out will be willing to sort of take a step in and pushes back it into this area again. So we could look at this old high. Let's see though. What have we got? 9:31. Got 4 minutes. Let's see. I need to get this dealing box off because I've got a few minutes until I could potentially take an entry. Do you understand how that's how I'm looking at it? It just looks like that for me, this move down here, it just looks like it's more likely to roll over rather than punch back up. Just the type of thought process that's going through my head why I'm trying to get long this market. I'm thinking to myself, it just doesn't look quite right. It just doesn't line up for me. And I'm sorry to say that to the people who've got long, and don't take my biases. That, you know, if you're long, stick to what you're doing, right? Stick to your edge. I'm just trying to point out what's going through my edges. My trade's trying to line up for me here. And I often talk myself out of winning trades, by the way, so it's not something that you should even be thinking that might play out, but I just would have liked it to the market never gives you what you would have liked though, does it? So let's see what happens. Hopefully I'll get a trade on here though. We just need one extra little push up. Trigger long for me this morning was on a break above the last down candle on the 5-minute time frame. Let's just see. So this is your trigger long here, Angelos. You're in long, or you're at 35s. I think Liam's looking at that too. So you're looking at this level, this candle here, right? So I think what she's saying is this is the last down candle here. The trigger long was when we took out the high of this candle here, and I assume it stops below this point here. Yeah. I think Liam's doing something like that too. You're looking at the same as me, Kyle. Yeah, I don't know though. It's 50-50 here, isn't it? We're above the IB, which is the bigger context to the trade. We are above the IB. We've got 1 minute until potential entry for me. Let's see. Right. Oh, it's such a tease, this DAX is, isn't it? It's such a goddamn tease. It always does this at the moment. Flips through the highs and sort of just stops just before my entry. Does it all the time. Something that I've seen happen so many times over the last month or two. The market, I was just like, keep on just probing high and then just keep, no, there's no entry for me, guys. Still no entry. Such a slippery little snake at the moment, the DAX is. It's unbelievable. No, earlier. Which candle then, Angela? Give me a time. Oh, you're not long now, right? Sorry, I misunderstood. Sorry. It's easy to misunderstand what people are saying on sometimes on the chat. It's me. I'm sorry. I do apologise for it. You can often get like the wrong context or whatever. This is the thing about me having the voice and you guys typing. The context of what people are saying to you are a lot that's sometimes missed, isn't it, in writing? But I imagine it'd be like so simple for you to just explain it if you had, you know, like you had a microphone and say, yeah, it's this, done. It's like, right, okay, everybody can see it, everybody can hear it, and they'll know exactly what you mean. But with type, it's so difficult. What's it doing here now? Data's dropped again, has it? It's just ridiculous, this is. Keeps happening, this does, with IG with me. I don't know why. You can see that 5-minute candle on the screen now. It's not filled again. So the candle's not filled up when it should have. and it's just an empty candle, and it's just, can you see it on my chart? Which is a bit of a problem. On the app it's working. On my live account we're okay. So yeah, I'm looking for a move through 140 really. A close through 140. If we get a close through 140, that's it for me. It looks like we could be coiling for something. Let's see. Got 3 minutes till candle close. CPI in half an hour. AP's called out CPI in half an hour. Risk currencies are just not moving the way they should in a good update. That's a good point to look. Thanks for calling that out. Angela's not long now. I traded FX until last week. I like the challenge of this DAX. It's a slippery snake, honestly, trend the market. It just doesn't move like FX or DAX, doesn't it? It's just so random. It never gives you the clean entry that you want either. It's just such a stupid market. It drives me mad. I swear it's took like nearly 10 years off my lifespan. 2 minutes. It looks like we're making the move. Look at this. Look at what a shit show it is. Look at that. It's not giving anything away, is it? Both sides. It's like if you're short in here and you're thinking this is going to roll over, it's like driving you mental. And obviously the longs, anybody's got long in here, it's driving you mental as well. Yeah. 1 minute to go, and that is not the type of candle that I would like to see. Are we rolling over here? That's why you got to wait for candle close, by the way, guys, isn't it? Yeah, look at that. You see that? If you would have hit that as it went through that level, you're now trapped, aren't you? At this point in time. That's why it's always good to wait for candle close, I think, especially if you're on whatever time frame you're using. Some people say that that's rubbish though, but for me, it always seems to help. I think that traps tend to happen in the last minute of a 5 minute time frame. A lot of the time, you'll find that you go through a level or go into a level, and then you'll just come off just in time for the candle close. New candle. No trade for me. What browser am I using? Safari. Safari, dude, at the moment on this Mac. You see, I don't normally trade on my Mac, but the Mac is the one that my desktop doesn't work with OBS, so it keeps on stopping. So I don't really like trading on a Mac, to be honest with you. My desktop's my normal go-to because I can get like all my screens working with my desktop. With a Mac, with my MacBook Pro, I haven't got the ability to run more than one screen off it, so it's tough. So I don't really trade on it, to be honest with you. But obviously, for this sake, for OBS sake and YouTube Live, I have to use my Mac because for some reason I don't know why my desktop just keeps on stuttering. It can't handle the charts up and the data and everything at the same time. I think there's something wrong with the video card, I've been told. But for trading, it's really good. It's never let me down. Aaron, so that's a good point you made, right? So I'm interested in that, Aaron. So so you say you did 4 years on the DAX before deciding it's a nightmare and the NASDAQ is so much easier. Right, so Chrome might fix it. Okay, yeah, I think I'll look into that tomorrow. The thing I don't like about Chrome though is it shows all of the details of the web page and stuff on the top of my bar. I might be able to get into incognito mode though. How many screens? Right. So I did have 3. I have 2 at the moment. When I moved upstairs here, I had a little office down at the other side of the house. But what happens is my little boy gets up at like 8 o'clock, and he goes to school at about 8:50. His school's only like literally 2 minutes from where we live, and he goes there obviously in the morning, and he would have had to. He has to walk through, like he's around where that desk would have been, so. It's a tough one to have done a YouTube live at that point. So where I am now, I moved upstairs, and I can use this room, and it's cut off from the rest of the house, so it's always quiet. But I can't fit 3 screens in here. I can only use 2. So for me, it's 2 at the moment. But same as I have got another one that I'm not using. It's never made me any more money though, to be honest with you, AP. My amount of screens has never affected my profitability in a positive way. In fact, it might have even done the opposite. It's just good. I don't ever find that I would have all my charts on all my screens either. I just used to like having something else on. So I'd have like my charts on 2 screens, and you could watch YouTube or something like that to keep your mind busy on the other one. I think if you've got 4 screens going and you've got like 10 charts or 15 charts open on a day, and you can't, I don't know, for me it just blew my brain. I'd go into meltdown mode. I mean, right, okay, Aaron, so you're making a good point there. Thanks for getting back to me. So just some days on the DAX, it's so one way. If you don't get on the right side, you're out for the day. Do you not find the Nasdaq's like that though, Aaron? For me, that's how I feel about the Nasdaq. Like that, exactly that. That the Nasdaq is basically just that. It's basically one way, and like it's very similar to the DAX in that aspect. I think anyway. I was thinking like maybe you'd say like it moved differently, or it just didn't wasn't as volatile, or you just liked how the thing moved maybe a little bit better or something. I do like the Nasdaq myself though. Don't trade it, never made any money on it or anything like that. But if I was going to change my time frame and I was living somewhere else where they were my hours, I think I would probably pick the Nasdaq. I do use the Dow. I do look at the Dow for obviously, because I think the DAX trades very similar to the Dow when the Dow opens up. It's like for like. So I keep an eye on the Dow and the Dow's IB, but I don't actively trade it. Do a little bit of scalping on it sometimes though on my live account if something sets up, but very rarely do I have to go down that sort of avenue. Right. Okay. So there you see. So you actually like the rotations more than Aaron, right? Technically, from a trading perspective, it's how the market rotates and its pullbacks. You prefer the Nasdaq, right? So that's a good point. It does move slightly different than the DAX. The Nasdaq does. I think the Dow is very similar to the DAX in the rotations of it and how it moves. But yeah, I've seen that the Nasdaq's a bit different. It does rotate slightly differently. So we've had a little trap that way, and we've had a little pin bar the other way then now. Lovely. Great stuff. See here, we've probed this high, and then we've tried to break this low, and we've been pushed back up, and it's like, good God. Just get on with it, for Christ's sake. For me now, it's this high though here. My high's moved up. We've got to see a break above 41. But looking at this chart now, you would have to take into account this level at 42 as well. So for me, we need to close through 41s and potentially 42s to see me hit it low. We've We've got 4 minutes. 4 minutes to move. Nils watches the spoos then, right? Yeah, the DAX is really thin. It really is thin. That's why it's so whippy though, isn't it? The liquidity's teen. You know, it's there's nothing there, is there? When you look at the actual DOM. Are you traded on the DOM, Aaron? Or are you on candlesticks? Also, this stop's going to have to be around 40 ticks. Three minutes till candle close. Let's see what happens at this level. Decent sort of little reaction off it first of all. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's the thing with me too. Right, so you've got your own footprint software which just uses colour and transparency to indicate instead of numbers. That's good. So, like, similar to what Market Delta was doing to give you the sort of, you know, like the deep red and like the real nice green stuff, or when the and the colours go from like a pale green to a deep green for the amount of sort of delta that's been hit. Is that right, Aaron? Makes it easier to see, doesn't it? Cool, man. I like that. 49. Right, so we're right on this now. There's nothing there for me yet. Oh, come on. I'm going to hit it. Done. Just need to get out of that a little bit there, just because my stop was too big because of how much it had moved out and I was risking too much. So yeah, that's fine now. Yeah, cool. Let's see what happens. Looking at this, I am not confident in the slightest of it, to be honest with you, but it's a legitimate entry, so I have to take it. It's as simple as that. Yeah, he did, Josh. It wasn't an entry for him, right? Even though it worked out lovely for Kurt. It worked out superb for him, but it wasn't an entry. He said it wasn't an entry, so I don't know why that was. Never quite got into that with him. Started talking to him about something else, but it wasn't an entry for Tom. I don't know why. You'll have to ask him that one on Twitter and call it out. I can get back to him. I'll ask him today why it wasn't, but it did work out. Right, Aaron's tweeted the vote. Right, okay, awesome. I'll have a look at that, Aaron. Brilliant. I'll tweet it out. That sounds really good. AP uses footprints for ES though. Yeah, but Kurt smashed it with that entry. It was a great entry. That's the level. 68 there. Bosh. One tick drawdown. Lovely stuff. Perfect trading eyes. Really good. Look at this piece of shit now, how it's pinned down. Like, I'm just thinking to myself, what have you done here? What have you done? You've literally got long what looks like right into a trap, haven't you? Now, if I'm looking at this, like every single fibre of my being is telling me that this is a trap, what have you done? Like, look at that on a 5-minute chart. You can see the pin bar that's literally gone up and we've pinned out. Does its best, doesn't it, trading, to make you feel like an absolute idiot, to be honest with you. It really does. Every day, the market tries its hardest to make you feel like an absolute dick, to be honest with you. But what do you do? What do you do? Crazy. Do we take it off? Hands up in the room if we take this off. Let me know. I'm not gonna. I'll just do what I'm doing. But I'm just wondering how many of you would take it off here watching this. If you've got into a trade, right, and you're looking at this, and you're looking at this, and you're looking at this candle here, how, you know, what you're looking at. If you're looking at this pin bar, are you taking your trade off? Are you messing with it? I'm just wondering what people would do. Right, okay, awesome. Aaron, have you had that coded for yourself then? Take it off. Kyle says take it off. It's an interesting one, isn't it? AP says don't take it off. You see, I find this so interesting. It's fascinating, isn't it, how other people think about the markets. I appreciate all of the feedback though. Leave it on. It's what you backtested for. Yeah, it is exactly. But that candle, look at that candle, man. It looks horrendous. Horrendous. Right into a potential resistance zone too, which is troubling me. You wrote it, Aaron. That's awesome. So Aaron's wrote his own market delta. Worked as a contractor for all the big banks for decades. Oh my God, what a ledge. Yeah, you take it off Sod's law, it'll fly up and everyone else can win law. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That is going to happen. That will be what's happened. Whatever I do, it will do the opposite this morning. So let it run. Let's see what happens. Hold. Yeah, I was going to let it run anyway, to be fair. I was just wondering what everybody would do. It's interesting. It is interesting to see what anybody will do. It's what makes a market. I'll be really interested in looking at that, by the way, Aaron. Market delta type stuff that you've got. I bet it's really interesting. Is it something that you're selling, or something that you'd be prepared to let other people look at and use, or is it just something that you want to try and keep proprietary to yourself? I understand completely if that's the case, by the way. CPI's up soon, but you never know, right? CPI can give you a massive push, huge push. So I haven't backtested to take any CPI into account. I've just traded and backtested my strategy every day. So on the days that CPI kills you, it kills you, and on the days that it pushes you, it pushes you, and it is what it is, basically. So I'm prepared to just leave it on, really, and just see what happens. I'm hoping that it'll push me though, rather than pushing me into my stop, but we don't know, do we? And it's one of them. This is it, guys. I'm staring down the barrel of a shotgun here, looking into CPI and thinking, am I going to get my head blown off or not? So I'm gonna stay live for it. I'm going to stay alive for it. I was going to go literally about 2 minutes ago, but you know what? I'm going to sit here and see this out and do the right thing and get stopped out live. Let's see what happens, right? I hope that it works out in my favour. If the trading lord or the trading gods are up there shining down on me, hopefully they will help me out today. Let's see. He might not do anything though, you know. Philios, Aaron's a top bloke, helped me out many times. Okay, awesome. Well, awesome, thanks Aaron, appreciate that. Reb. So, it's for sale at Rebel and Trading. No, I'm reading that wrong. I swear down, my eyes are going funny looking at this chart. Romeo, Echo, Bravo. Let me just call it out. I sound like a right idiot here. Right, so you need Ninja Trader to give it a try though. Romeo, Echo, Bravo, Echo, Lima, Alpha, November, Tango, Tango, Romeo, Alpha, Delta, Indigo, November, Golf, right? What a douchebag. Struggling to see. It's like them boxes on that MT4 chart. They're making my eyes go funny. I think I might need to put my glasses on. I do have glasses somewhere. Where are they? Marked. Still got a mark on. That's better. Dave's spelling it out for me. Right, yeah, okay. Rebellant Trading. I'm so sorry about that. It's being sat in a dark room in the chat, it's so, when you're staring at screens as well like this all day, my eyes go funny, they really do. It's getting old, I'm nearly 37 and I think it's just starting to happen to me. My eyes and stuff like that are just starting to become a bit of a sort of greyness on small stuff. It probably comes from looking at the screens too much though, computer screens, doesn't it? It doesn't look like this is going to go, does it guys, this DAX? It really doesn't. It doesn't strike me as being a bullish type, anything bullish at all. Yeah, this is it. Sometimes it's Jesper. It hasn't really made. It's had no impact at all, has it? I would have liked it to, because at the moment now I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place with this position here. I think it doesn't look bullish to me in the slightest. But I don't really. I'm in a position, and it doesn't really look like it's particularly bearish either. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Does anybody think this chart looks bullish? Just wondering. Does anybody looking at this 5-minute chart on my screen looks bullish? Do they think it's bullish in any way? Looking at what's currently in front of us. Let's see what the hive mind says. Does this chart look bullish, guys? Give me the just yes or no. I wouldn't advise anybody to take this trade here, Angela, if I'm being honest with you. If somebody said to me, you're getting long, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Seriously. You think bullish, bearish, right? So one bull, one bear. I'm looking for 10 answers and I'm going to work out what the best thing to do with the hive mind. Right, bullish, 2 bullish, 1 bearish. 3 bullish, 1 bearish. If in doubt, zoom out. Slightly. Mark Williams, slightly what? Slightly what, mate? No, Kyle, no what? Right, so Kyle says no bullish. Right, okay. Bearish. So we've got 3 bears, 3 bulls. Trend the market 5 bears, 3 bulls, right? 5 all. 6-5 to bulls. 7-5 to bulls with Nick. Interesting, right? Angela says institutional business was at the open, now drifting around. Angela, bullish or bearish? What are we doing? Give me an answer. Neutral. Josh, no, we can't have any neutral business. That's not how we're doing it. There's your answer then. Bullish. Right, I think the bulls have just won the bears there. So the hive mind is saying that the market's bullish. Thanks, Nick. Iron ore's bullish. So the hive mind, Andy S, bullish. Right, thanks, dude. The hive mind is saying bull, right? So I'm going to stick to the bull. Aaron comes in bearish. The hive mind is bullish though. I'm sticking with it. Sticking with the course. They reckon that the hive mind is always more intelligent than the one person thinking on his own. So we'll stick with it. We'll see what's happening. But 90% losing trading. So yeah, so what you're saying, Dave, is flip it on its head, do the opposite. Yeah, probably. I have backtested my strategy though, so it does make money, so I've got to stick with that. I'm just wondering. No feel for it at the moment. I haven't either. That's the problem, Mark. I've got no feel for this move at all. Nothing. I'm in the market, but there's nothing there for me that I can lean on to think that I might be making the right decision. Or even that I'm making the wrong decision. It's just, there's just nothing there. Aaron, so you're a shorting specialist trading the Nasdaq. Jesus Christ. Everything looks like a short. Oh my god. Mate, I tell you what, you've done very well to make money over the last couple of years trading the Nasdaq, man. Jesus Christ, I take my hat off to you. I take my hat off to you. YouTube sentiment says bullish. What would Mark Fisher's? Mark Fisher would be long above the opening range. He'd be thinking that this is going up more than down. But you can get the reversal day. Call that like this would be a bull bias reversal day if this reverses from here now and goes back into the IB, where you've seen a bullish bias throughout the morning session and then we've seen the reversal because it's not been accepted. They do happen. Gamian, under 15,469, lots of stops, lots of candy. Come on, Gamian, you can't. Where are you getting short then? Give me an entry. You big tease. What a teasing comment that is. He's pointing out that my stops are and everybody else's stops are underneath this market. That's great, and I know they are, right? But tell me where you're getting in the market. Where's your entry and where's your stop going to be so we know where your stop is? Yeah, you managed to say solvent. Exactly, good lad. Gamian, come on, let me know. Where are you? Where's your stop? I agree with you that all of our stops are down here though, and if this thing does roll over, we are all going to get stopped out. But where's your stop if you're getting short? It's fair game. It's fair game, pal. You know that one thing, Trend the Market, about what Mark Fisher said about the time stop, right? Listen, alright, I'm not going to argue against that guy because what he does is absolutely amazing. He's made more money in a day than I've probably made in my lifetime trading, right? I think, it's pretty obvious that the guy knows what he's doing. But from my entries on my strategy, I've looked into that loads of times and given myself a time-based get out. And it means that my strategy isn't profitable. I've gone down this road and done that where he says, because what he says is if the market doesn't tell you straight away that you're right, and go your way straight away, he's out. But for me, some of my best entries have been the ones where it's just floated around the stop or within a certain risk box for like an hour, and then it just goes. It doesn't make any sense to my strategy, that, and I've looked into that so many times, and what you end up doing is you end up getting out your winners quick, when you shouldn't be doing. So for me personally, on my strategy, that wouldn't make any sort of anything for me at all of how I could make money. It would actually stop me from making money. Now I don't know how he exactly uses it though, because he never actually goes into the time periods he uses in depth for each specific strategy that he's got. But I suppose it's just the feel that he's got of the market, innit? Where's your stop, Trend the Market? We only like people calling trades out if they're giving us a stop, guys. That's what we're interested in. Because then we can see the trade setup, can't we? Not, just helps me out to see the actual trade setup. If you're giving an entry, you give us a stop as well. Because then we know what you're looking at. We know what your risk is. Where you're going to be wrong. Because it's like me calling this trade out long here. If I didn't put my stop on, then we could go all the way back down here and stop me out, and then at the end of the day we could be back up here and be like, oh yeah, I've made money. But the stop to me is more important than the entry, or as important. M15ATR, what is it then, buddy? Just wondering what the actual figure is. 20 ticks. So 58, so your stop's at 78. Yeah, it makes sense. And what you're looking to do, play it back down into the IB. Maybe into this liquidity pool here if we do crack off and come through. I would suggest that if we come back into the IB today, we are probably going to come back down in it and have a look through here. Thanks for that, dude. Appreciate it. I'm going to get off here though, guys. Thank you for your interaction. You know where my stop is. It won't be moved, although it looks like I'm going to be stopped out. If I was a betting man here, I would say that we look like we're going to roll over, to be honest with you. As Angela said, would you advise anybody else to be long here? Definitely not. Maybe my worst enemy. I'd tell them to get long here, but not somebody that I cared about. Let's just see what happens though. I'm going to get off though now, guys. Thank you very much for stopping in. I'll see you back tomorrow for hopefully I'll be able to talk you through what a great winning day it's been. But I potentially would have another stab at this long as well, right? If it comes back down here and stops me out, and then we prove by the American session that we're not accepting balance and we're going to rotate back out again, I will try and catch another breakout through that point and see what happens and try and get on board then. But you know, if we're in balance, there'll be nothing for me to do. And also, it's going to have to go back into balance to stop me out, which I quite like, because obviously that's a good point, you know, for me, for my strategy. We're gonna have to go back into balance before I'm stopped out, which is good, because then it will mean that I should definitely be wrong on the trade idea. Mark Wogan making the point. Why are you, Mark? I do not know, because this playing devil's advocate, I love it. I really like it. I enjoy it. I don't know. You tell me, because I'm an idiot probably. Mark Wogan means, why the hell am I long when I wouldn't advise even my worst enemy to get long at this point? You make a good point, Mark. You really do. I just know there's just something that's obviously when I'm backtesting, all the points where I think that this probably isn't going to go, I end up doing all right out of, and that's what keeps me from messing with it. So although I'm acting like, oh God, you know, I feel like I might get stopped out here, sometimes that's not a bad thing underneath it all, if I'm being honest with myself. If you understand where I'm going with it, because the times when I feel like I'm going to get stopped out, they tend to be the decent days. So, but I appreciate the interaction, everybody, right? Take care and have a good day. Thank you all. And if you've tweeted me why this has been going on, I will send it out and retweet it for you anyway. Thank you very much, and I wish you all a profitable day. Take care.